My mom and I saw the Unknown Number documentary on Netflix, and I thought, as a social worker and someone who works with teenagers and used to work with schools a lot regarding cyberbullying and child pornography, I thought my 2 cents could be helpful. I think it's important that I will not be sharing who actually did it. I can do a part two on my thoughts about who did it, and then finding out who did it, and then like my thoughts on what they said when they were interviewed. But I think it's fun going in not knowing, because unfortunately I was fucking spoiled. And so I watched it like knowing who it was, and it wasn't as fun. I think it's better not knowing. But if anyone wants a part two, let me know, because I have a lot to say on who did it. Here are the big things that stick out to me. Number one, the fact that the parents didn't change the number is fucking bullshit. Their excuse was, well, we want to know who it is, because what if we're inviting this person into her home? This bitch is fucking saying bullshit to your child. They're telling your child to harm themselves. They're sexualizing your child. But yeah, let's put them through it, because I think that's more important, so we can find out who it is. The logic is one of the most infuriating things, because I truly think if the parents actually, I don't know, did what they were supposed to do by protecting their children and just getting a new phone number, throwing out the phone, I think a lot of harm could have been not had, to be honest. The police department is fucking stupid. Here is one of the biggest things, and the only reason it's a big thing, and maybe something only I or other mental health professionals who work with teenagers notice: the police interviewed the students by themselves. Now, I was interviewed when I was in high school by the police for a situation at school, and my mom did not find out till afterwards. And I would just like to tell everyone who watches this, that's illegal. If you are under 18, you have to have an adult, whether it's a guardian, whether it's your parents, you have to have an adult that you know in the room with you. The reason, especially if it's like questioning in the beginning, if it's like afterwards, after there's evidence, there's a little difference. But if it's like, oh, hey, like there's this cyberbullying issue, like we want to know more about it, parents have to be notified and parents have to be in the room. And as someone who experienced this myself, I wish my mom was in the room with me when I was interrogated by the police, because I probably wouldn't have put myself in a situation I shouldn't have. But I didn't know. And I was a teenager and I didn't fucking know what was going on. And I feel like that situation really bothered me, because I think that every single one of the teenagers who was interrogated should have had their parent involved. Now, this part is a smidge spoilery, just because there was one girl that had her parents involved. She was considered to be the main suspect for quite a while. And the reason why her parents were involved was because her dad was a fucking cop. And so her parents were allowed to be in the room. And that really, really bothered me, to be honest, because why is it that the victims get interviewed without their parents in the room? And the reason I know this is because they show the body cam. And yet, one of the suspects is not who is interviewed. She gets interviewed with her parents because her dad's a cop and already knew what was going on. I just think that was completely unacceptable. Um, the reason why is it changes a lot. And one of the kiddos who was interviewed said something that I kind of figured would have happened was, after I was interrogated, I my view of cops changed. That's why parents need, or guardians need, to be in the room, because of this mentality could have easily been avoided if someone was there to protect the child. And you're like, oh, they're the police, they're protecting the child. They want to find the criminal. That's the first thing. They're not thinking of who they're they're not thinking about the mentality of the suspects because one, they're children. That's how I viewed it from the what I saw. Number 3, how the school handled it was not surprising, but it shows why school social workers matter. Because where the fuck were the school social workers? Where even was the school guidance counselor? Like, do they have one? And the fact that no one had their kids in therapy by the end of this is truly disturbing. The amount of mental harm that has been done to these children, and yet no one was in therapy, was just astounding to me. But the fact that not a guidance counselor, not even a social worker was involved at the school is just like, really? Really? Social workers are so important, especially in middle school and in high school. They see things, they know things that a lot of people don't fucking know. They notice things that can go over people's head. And to not even have a social worker or a guidance counselor involved, it's kind of ridiculous. And those children should have also been in therapy. Like, what are we doing? Now, I think the last thing I'm going to say has more to do with the fact that I was raised by a very strict mom than kind of my view as a social worker, but I think it's important. Um, they, it took how long till the parents went to the police? And the parents didn't even go to the police. They went to the school went to the police. I think it was like a year and a half later. And at that time, they were getting like 60 text messages a day. If your child is getting more than 2 text messages a day by someone they don't know, you refuse to change their number, you refuse to take away their phone, you refuse to give them a new fucking phone, and you still haven't called the police after 2 weeks, you're an idiot. This whole like, oh, we gotta find out who it is. You don't though. You really fucking don't. I'm sorry. I think that the curiosity of the parents was one of the major reasons why this lasted so long. Because in reality, this shouldn't have lasted more than a month. The fact that it lasted 2 fucking years shows that the parents were more curious to find out who it actually was, and they kind of were blinded by the fact that their children were being harmed, that they just were like not thinking straight. And the fact that not a single person to our knowledge that was presented in the documentary didn't pull the parents aside and been like, what the fuck are you doing? Why does the child still have the same fucking phone number? Your selfish wants is not what is important right now. So yeah, those were just like a few things that I noticed about while I was watching the documentary. It is a very good documentary. um I think it's very fascinating. If you want a part 2 on my thoughts on who actually did it and my opinions of their interview, I can easily do that because I have a lot to fucking say. Yeah. But the reason why I'm not saying who it was is because I think it's honestly a lot better to watch not knowing. So, yeah. But my biggest thing is all of those kids need to be in therapy. And for any parent who is dealing with cyberbullying, change the fucking phone. Literally, like, lock that shit down. Who it is right now is not important if your child's mental health is at risk. It's not worth it.